That damn bot. There we are. Good evening, everybody. I gotta get that intro reloaded again so I can play it. To give me that extra 90-second countdown. You dig? Can you dig it? The Warriors, when they're all gathered in New York City. Can you dig it? Oh, man. Oh, I want to show you something here. I see if I can find this crap again before I lose it. I don't know why. I had it ready. And then I went to eat supper and I completely forgot. No. Never do. I have no TV whatsoever, like nothing over the air, no cable, no satellite, no TV that way traditionally whatsoever. So unless it's free over the air and I go somewhere like hang out at the bar, there's no watching the Super Bowl. I mean, I've heard people predicting it's going to be a serious snore fest and probably the lowest scoring game ever. So that'll be horrible. That'll make it an absolute snooze fest. I haven't been big on any NFL really since the Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 out of 5 years and lost it 4 out of 5 years. I became convinced then, without a doubt, that it is completely fictional and rigged. Because it's just statistically that is virtually impossible to happen. I mean, given those odds, a few years later, they should have went back to the Super Bowl 4 or 5 times in a row and won it every time. But hey, I'm just interested to see which halftime show is more popular. I mean, I don't know why everybody gets all bent out of the halftime shows for these things. It's meant to keep people excited that are actually there in person. But they turn it into a spectacle, which in itself is still really a new thing. So it happens when you design shit just for TV. There you go, Robert. You're going to get fucked up as hell. Let's see here. Where is it? Trying to find this thing here. I got to show you this, okay? This happened here the other day. Just a few miles down the highway. You want to talk about bad truckers? You guys think you've had some idiots down there? Wait and check this shit out. Where are we here? Not that. Not that. Right here. Check this out. You want to think you got bad truckers. Now this, let me be sure to let me know that you can actually hear this. I haven't tested the sound in a while. Whoop. I gotta get this down here. Hold on. I'm all screwed up here. I don't need no feedbacks. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Too many monitors. I don't know what screen anything is on. Okay, those are muted. Get this going.
Come commercial semi-truck taken off a
Check this
Saskatchewan
out.
highway for being unsafe. The driver is no longer employed, and the company is responding to questions about the damage. CTV's Laura Woodward has the story.
This is going to be one of the worst.
This video
stories.
posted to social media shows the moments before a semi-truck was taken off the highway.
That is what the driver was looking through.
Both side windows of the cab
But he had
smashed
his
out
windows
and covered
taped
with
together.
duct tape, and the windshield severely damaged.
That's
is
their
mirror
mirror
duct taped
that
on.
they
Like,
look at that. He was
have
driving down the
attempted
highway
to
hauling a
red green
load.
together
No-
with
no
duct
window.
tape. How a
All
professional
duct tape,
driver
the mirror
could get
duct
behind
tape.
the wheel of that vehicle, deem it safe for operation after a pre-trip inspection, and take it on the road is something that
And you
is
thought you
just
had some
beyond
bad shit
comprehension.
down there with the drivers.
Calgary-based company Southwest Bulk says the driver is no longer employed and says the damage happened from another vehicle. Quote, "Our driver was parked at a customer's site when another vehicle backed into his truck,
we all know
resulting
the
in
bullshit.
damage to the mirror and windshields." The company says a
They
tow
only
truck
fired him
was
'cause he got
dispatched,
caught.
but the driver chose to keep on driving. Corman Park police say the semi had been on the road for at least 6 hours.
Your line of sight is obstructed by duct tape. Your mirrors are covered by duct tape. There is no way you can safely operate that vehicle.
That's
But
the
on
truth,
top of
Robert.
that,
Everything but stupid.
people who operate commercial vehicles are professional drivers.
The professional drivers are
And the thing
required
is-
to meet, pretty strict standards.
They figure
In
he'd been
Canada,
driving
commercial
for, like,
trucking comes with regulations,
hours at
rules
that
on the
point
condition
down
of
the
the
road like
vehicle, a driver's medical fitness, and how long they
Like,
can
it's
be
nuts.
behind the wheel. By law, drivers must inspect their vehicle before every trip. So how could this pass a pre-trip
They go crazy
inspection?
around here.
Well,
Let's stop that now. I mean, they go crazy around here with the highway patrol taking people down, pulling trucks over all the time, inspecting them, checking their paperwork. But that dude only got caught because the guy that videotaped him going by, of course, with his cell phone while driving, was another off-duty cop. It's the only reason I got called in. So over the course of a few hours on a main frickin' highway, a twinned highway at that multiple people saw this guy. At least claim a moose attack. Robert, did you read that article that I sent you about the moose attack that happened here? Did you read that whole thing where Buddy describes his fight with the moose? That is going to be one of the craziest things you'd see. Yeah, Colin, that was where I lived. That was the highway. It was about an hour down the road. All right. You guys got to hear this here. I got to take the glasses off in order to freaking read this, but the guy this guy here, this is from the news article. The guy at 6:00 in the morning, his mom went out to go start the car and he heard her screaming and he didn't know what she was saying. He knew that something wasn't good. He said, "I went running outside and there was a moose standing over top of her. I started screaming at the moose and it just turned and faced me and pinned its ears back. So he went at the moose and started punching the moose in the face," which he does admit wasn't a good idea because the moose has a longer reach than him and the moose swung back but just missed. So then he proceeded to grab a shovel and swing at the moose and hit it a few times when the moose still came at him. So he backed up back into the house and fell, tripped over a compost bucket, that's what you get for being a hippie, and then got up and he came right in the house. He said, and then he was trying to hit me in the house, but the moose couldn't get a good swing trying to hit this guy in his own house. So this is where it gets crazy. So then the guy says that he grabbed the moose and put it in a headlock. Like, this dude was full on bar fighting a moose in his house. Yeah, he figured he'd put him in a headlock to prevent the animal from biting him or swinging at him. I mean, buddy, it is a moose. I don't care how many guys try and grab that thing around the neck for a headlock. That moose is going to drop you. Scepter, was the driver a recent arrival? Well, this is how you can tell. Okay. They will not say who the driver was. They won't say anything about the driver at all. So yeah, you can pretty much guarantee that he was a recent arrival and all that stuff, as if it would have been some 60-year-old, overweight white dude named John or Frank or Mark or Martin or some shit. They would have named who the driver was, and probably would have been charged for dangerously operating a transport vehicle on the highway, risking other people. So they didn't say anything about the driver. So everybody is absolutely sure that he was probably driving wearing sandals. It's a pretty good guess. Most of the truckers are recent arrivals, as you might say, which is absolute bullshit, because where I am, almost everybody has a Class 1 driver's license. And here, that's what you need for driving a semi around here, is a Class 1. Here, they don't call them CDLs. It's a Class 1. You got your Class 1, your Class 3, and then various endorsements for, like, a school bus is a license all on its own. Drive a taxi or anything like that, you need a chauffeur's license, But that kind of went out the window when fucking Uber and all that shit showed up and figured they could get around and run a taxi service without actually having to obey taxi rules. So it changed a lot. I don't know. It's winter up here. It is freezing below zero, and he's driving down the highway doing 60, 70 miles an hour with no frickin' window in the cab of his truck. That has got to be the wild, dude had to have been freezing. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have a coffee can somewhere in there, burning little sticks of wood to stay warm. Which I speak from experience, by the way. Driving a little Turismo with a buddy. We were knocking around, kicking around, heater core, and a heater went in the car. It was winter, it was January, it was freezing, and we still had like 6 hours to drive overnight, and it was freezing in the car, and we couldn't keep it warm, so we took a can of coffee we had, and these are still the metal cans, not these, solid metal tin, right? And we took that thing and we cut it open, we dumped it open, and we put it in between the two front bucket seats. And we got a bunch of little twigs, little 6-inch long twigs and stuff. And we just kept feeding that thing an open fire pit in the middle of the, So, and that was great until we ended up knocking it over. Except here, a tea light wouldn't keep you warm in a car here. Way too cold in January. The tea light would almost freeze. Wouldn't burn long enough. But we had an open fire. And at one point, we pulled up to a gas station. And if it wasn't for the fact that this thing had a sunroof that we could open to help feed the smoke out, we probably would have died in that car. It was crazy. Yeah, Texas cold tea light. Yes, you betcha. Here you can buy little 12-volt little car heaters that keep the interior air warm in your vehicle. It gets so cold here, your tires go flat overnight. And they will stay that way until you're driving, and they slowly heat up. So you'll have a nice flat spot on your tire. It's called driving with square tires. So we had the Great Moose Smackdown. And the truck driver that couldn't do its thing. Yeah. Hey, Robert, what is Turning Point doing for the halftime show? Heard something about Kid Rock? Like, where are they going to do that? And How are they going to cut in? Are they going to, like, how are they going to do that? Are they going to cut into the feed for certain broadcasts in order to show that one instead? Like, or is it just going to be something they're going to do on in order for you to go and do it? Colin, I did see your comment that's what annoyed you about the Uber taxi drivers there, that they have to background checks, but anyone with a smartphone in a car can do Uber. Yeah, I betcha. Oh, they're going to do it on their webpage. All right, so essentially it's just changing the channel, which is what a lot of people do on bad halftime shows anyway. Oh, I imagine, Scepter, it'll probably most definitely be on Rumble. I'll probably be damn near ready in bed by the time they get around to that. You know. What do we got? Ah, people in their thing. Good evening. Man, am I tired. Going away for the night and grabbing a hotel room and stuff for us, you know, you think a person would actually like relax and sleep, and I know we slept like 2 hours, man. Mostly because the clock in the room was wrong and it didn't know it, and we shut our cell phones off so nobody could bother us while we were away. So up at 3 a.m. yesterday, worked, got ready, took off, went out, enjoyed ourselves. Didn't get to sleep till like 4 a.m. Woke up, thought it was near, 7:30, start getting ready for hotel checkout time. I mean, turned out the clock was wrong by like an hour and a half. It was actually way earlier than that. So no sleep. Do our thing, drive home, and what does the guy do when he gets home? Passes out on the couch for like an hour and a half while puts on a movie and sleeps, and then gets up, turns off the TV, and then go to the room and lay down and have another nap for 3 hours. And barely still conscious. This getting old shit sucks. It really, really does. It sucks. And Scepter, I'm going to go back to where you keep thinking that, my head's going to catch fire. I'm thinking that I have a rear projector for on the screen, and I got the screen to go with it, so I could put that behind me and have it project an image, so I could have the fire, like the entire background, just cooking away this big fire that would rock and roll, and it would look like I was burning. Or, yeah, Scepter, getting old sucks. We're all getting there. I wear myself out. I get so tired I can barely stay awake. The eyes itch. You get angry. You get annoyed at everything. You start cursing out people just randomly in public, honking at assholes. Billy Joel video. Yeah, there we go. Or what's that one? Oh shit! What's that video? When everybody's always getting rickrolled. Play that behind me all the time, Play something in the background. It'd be something just epic. We'd have to figure out what it would be. I don't know. War footage. I don't know. Something. Interview. Yeah, that's it, Scepter. Never gonna give you up. Wow, was that ever wrong, eh? Do that one. I've even thought about ending the live by just throwing that up there. see who sticks around long enough to get Rick rolled every night. I gotta get going. I gotta get back in. I got so much shit that I was supposed to be doing that I've been so sidelined and distracted with work that it's taking forever. Like, I got some here, completed stuff. I don't even know if I loaded them up yet or not. So I got to go through everything all over again and start over. Oh, I got to wonder. I got to wonder if he's getting anything off those Rick rolls, man. Because that, he should be. But I guarantee most people are just stealing the clips and doing it anyway. And the only reason when they, start all of a sudden taking stuff down, it's because, YouTube's got to pay up. Like, what do you think are the odds that Facebook is actually going to start paying out the royalties from people suing them, specifically like Eminem there, for allowing all them videos that people are making to be using his songs in them? And they're making money off it, and he's not getting his piece. I mean, I get that. I think you're right. Probably slim to none. 100% slim to none. They'll screw everybody over. It's what they do. I haven't been able to find anything. Just curious. Is there anything interesting from this day in history? This day in history. I should have done this earlier. Let's see. Not really anything spectacular. Oh, on this day in 1964, the Beatles officially made it down to... What, Robert? The Three Doors Down dude died? No way. That's what I was going to say today. I see that Dee Snider, they've canceled Twisted Sister's upcoming tour. That they shut it down. He straight out said it's because of his health. He can't do it. He's got massive health concerns. And that they will give an update in a few weeks to his health. So I got to wonder, are we going to lose somebody else? He couldn't have been that old, eh? 47. Did they say what he died of? Probably not, right? Man, that song Kryptonite of theirs, every time I hear it, I remember being at this party one time and these people had the dog, this German Shepherd. It was friendly, but it got really excited all the time. And Kryptonite was playing. And this dog started jumping around on the couch and everything, and then jumped in my lap, and this fucking dog pissed all over me. This German Shepherd just pissed all over me while we're at this party, and I was so mad. I was so mad. I did the only thing I could think of, being as drunk as I was. I grabbed that dog, I hauled it outside, and I pissed on it right back. That's right. I stooped that low that when the dog pissed on me, I got so upset, I hauled the dog outside, and I pissed on the dog. And they got mad at me, and I'm like, hey, at least I took the dog outside. I could have left the dog on the couch and done it. Don't fucking tell me that I was being a little overreacting. Whew. So every time I hear Kryptonite, that just comes alive in my head, man. Not my most shining moment out in public, I will tell you that, but it happened. I did it. It's one of them things. But that's crazy. Everybody's dropping. There ain't going to be anybody left soon. Flour. I don't know if so much as I had it ready at the command, but I mean, I'd been sitting there drinking a few beers, so I'm pretty sure that I had to go. In fact, that might have been to the first time of the night, because there was always that superstition back then when you were drinking that you could drink like 6, 7 beers and not go to the bathroom once. But the second you went and broke that seal, like every half beer, you're back in there going again. So that might have been what it is. I don't know, but it was, yeah, not my shining moment, but you know. It's one of them things you do. It becomes a story later that everybody's like, oh, you remember that fucking time you were such an idiot that you peed on a dog? I'm like, yeah, I remember. Breaking the dam. Well. House flower. How are things at your end of this little ball that we call Earth? Everything. Wow. That's how tired I am. My tongue is falling asleep while I talk. You know. Did a busy garden day. Very nice, very nice. Doing all them gardening things and enjoying yourself, relaxing, having a bit of sunshine maybe. We got so much fog here right now. It's like Stephen King's The Mist. You don't want to go outside because something's going to reach out and snatch you. Because we have this really thick foggy mist right now. You can't even like see across the street. Separated the strawberry plants. Getting ready to put them out, or do you keep your strawberry plants? Your strawberry plants, flower. Do you keep them in like a pot, and do yours in pots and keep them that way, and then you separate them when they put little runners out inside the pot and keep expanding, or do you grow them and then when they're ready you go out and plant them? You know, you do. Okay, you do have them in. All right, that makes sense. Because, man, them things kind of grow like they're more like a weed if you just put them out in the yard. Eh? They'll get them runners going, and they will take over everything. Very nice. Very nice. I gotta tell you. Strawberries on the deck. Shit, man, these things always get eaten. I know, Robert. We absolutely know that you like weed. There is no doubt there. There is no bones to that discussion whatsoever. So have they done it yet? They keep saying they were going to do it. I heard them say they were going to do it, that they were going to remove it off the Schedule 1 listing and drop it. Have they done that yet? You know? Have they done that yet, Robert? Have they actually removed it off the Schedule 1 list? Or is that just more smoke they're kind of blowing up ass right now, you know? Well, we're going to do this, but then they don't get around to doing it because, well, quite frankly, it'll be detrimental to the, privates, Yeah, not yet, but legal in New Mexico. Yeah, okay. I don't see why, they wouldn't. Because I don't really consider it really any different than alcohol. But the fact is, right? You will see someone will drink a bottle of whiskey and become a violent dickhead and go pick fights. But you ain't going to see somebody smoke a big bag of weed and go out picking fights. So I don't see the difference. Until somebody had mentioned the thing about the Olympics, I totally forgot that the Olympics were on. I completely forgot. Someone was talking about the opening ceremonies, and I'm like, really? It's the Olympics? Like, I've heard nothing about it. I've heard nothing about the Olympics this year. I didn't even know where it was. Scepter. Yeah, but see, Seth Rogen's anger comes from other issues, I'm pretty sure. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure they come from other issues. He still can't get over the fact that he was picked on in high school. All ads were superseded by useless drug ads. Yeah. No, I don't. I don't buy it. I didn't even know much about the Olympics this year. It's Winter Olympics, right? Yes. See, and you would think I would know when the Winter Olympics are, being that we're a winter country. Huh. What do we have here? Italy is leading the medal count, followed by Japan, Norway, Sweden. Crazy. That's very interesting. I didn't think Italy would be leading. Mm. Curling. No. Sweep. Hurry! Hurry hard! Hard! Hurry! Hurry! Hard! Hard! I used to curl. Used to curl in school. The primary school I went to did not have a gymnasium, but it had a hockey rink and a curling rink. So instead of having an actual like gym class, physical education class, we had curling class. Right? And we went to we would go across the we would load up, we would go across the street, we would go to the curling rink, and we would curl for like an hour and a half. And that's what we did. You know, we would curl. Yeah, didn't even know anything about the Winter Olympics this year. Well, I mean, it wasn't, we didn't have, our school was literally 4 classrooms with a hallway. That was it. Between the 2 classrooms, there was a very small library. Robert Curl's 12 ounce. Yep. And I'm sure Scepter curls a little hard liquor on the rocks. Eh? I when I got older, I did a lot of curling of 1 ounce at a time. That's right, tequila shots all the time. Get them going. See, that's the thing, Flower. This is how you can look at it. If a country only has 1 or 4 athletes and they go to the Olympics, while watching curling, you damn straight. And if they win, especially if that's their only athlete and they win gold in that event, you can tell them, you could sit there and you could make an argument that that country had the best performance in the Olympics than any other nation because every single one of their athletes won the gold. And nobody else achieved that. So, you don't have to win 37 medals. You just send 3 athletes and win 3 gold, and that's it. That makes you the best performing country in the world. I don't know if the Jamaican bobsled team is back. I mean, they don't have John Candy to train them anymore. I don't know. I don't know if they're still around. Let's see. I'll go look it up here and see. They did the two men in 92, 94, 98, 2000, 2014, and in 2022. And there's a women's bobsled team now in 2018. Crazy. Let's see here. So, yeah, they've been there. They even got a women's team now. Oh, speed skating. It's crazy. That is a goofy sport. I mean, it looks weird to me because they wear these suits where they look like them frickin', speed walkers and all that shit. I mean, why don't you just jog? So, women bobbing $50. Yep. They're there. They showed up in 2018 and they came in, they ranked 19th overall. Yeah. I mean, the Jamaican team has never, ever done that good. Let's see here. 88 did not finish. 92, 25th. 94, 14, 98, 21. And then they didn't arrive again until 2022, where they came in 28th. Crazy. I don't know why everybody's always so concerned about the fashion for they put so much crap into that. See, I take issue with the Olympic opening ceremonies, all right? Because the modern day Olympics, the modern day opening ceremonies, I think we should scrap it. For the simple fact is that the modern day Olympics, the running of the torch and all that stuff and the marching in the stadium, we all knew who came up with that idea and who created that whole idea. So that should be just completely squashed. That should have been just scrapped entirely. They don't need to do all that extra crap. Get rid of it. I wouldn't do it. We host it again, damn straight. I wouldn't have the whole running of the torch and all that stuff in the way they do it. And nope, absolutely not. No way would I pay homage to, no way I would pay homage to 30s Germany at all. Forget that crap. No, the modern day Olympic ceremonies they're bastardized. People tend to forget. We accept so much shit. I wouldn't allow it. No flour. And this is what I want to see. I want to see real games. I'm not opposed to having like Coliseum games again. Let everybody fight. Real fighting. Like when they came up with that idea for a while, that Hockey Fights Sports League that they came up with for a bit, that didn't last, but it would be... They came up with the idea that people liked going to hockey games and watching fights. So they held the one, and they held a big pay-per-view event, and they took, some of them were NHL brawlers, some of them were minor league brawlers and beer league brawlers. But these guys would get there, they would put on all their hockey equipment, they would put on all their gear, they would skate to center ice, and then they would fight. And they tried to kick this off as a league thing, and They put it on pay-per-view. And apparently they made a little bit of money, but I guess it just wasn't popular enough. People thought that they were ruining the great name of hockey by showing fights. When we all know that's the reason a lot of people go to games. I mean, one of the most violent hockey leagues around is in Texas, of all places. Everybody goes for the fights. Rejects from all over get to go there and play and make a living, and all they got to do is scrap. They make some money, man. That's right. The great game of hockey ruined by fights. What do you think's going to happen if you take a sport where you put razor blades on somebody's feet and then give them a club? They're going to fight. Now, what do you got there, Scepter? Hunting should be like tracking a... Damn right. Track a pedo down with a 12-hour head start in the country is the reserve, like the Running Man book version. Absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't aware at first. It was a few years ago when I first seen the one, Scepter, and I didn't realize that hockey was as big as it is in Texas. You know, I was surprised. But then again, I'm not as surprised anymore, but there's even a hockey league in Saudi Arabia. Mostly started by all the Canadians that went there to go to work, and then, you know, they would play hockey themselves, but then it started to go. It started to expand. So they even have some local teams now there. So I like hockey. I just hate what they constantly do to the game. I mean, two different sets of rules, right? I mean, you got the NHL rules, which is essentially North American hockey rules, and then you got international hockey, which is what they use for the Olympics. Oh, was it that quick, Scepter? As soon as the Stars moved, everybody just immediately, it's just like, hockey. They're like, damn right. I mean, there's a lot of drinking in hockey. There's beer. There's fights. There's a lot of pretty women go to hockey games. So, I mean, adopt the hockey right away. I know it's like kind of watching the 70s and 80s start surfacing around the world. You know, everybody that was behind 50 years is catching up, Flower. We'll see how that all goes. It started a beef with Detroit almost immediately. Wait, what'd they throw on the ice down there? Cow tongue? I don't know. You know. Or they go to Detroit and they, you know, throw squid. Some people would throw hats. Yeah. Good evening, Jason. How have you been? How's New York kicking these days? Everything still calm and same old, same old? I don't have my button, Robert. Send them to Detroit. No, not Detroit. Anything but that. I don't have my button ready. It stopped working, so I have to fix it. I gotta get everything tuned back in. 100%. Oh, what is this? Focus on your live stream and let YouTube insert ads for you. Turn on or dismiss. Dismiss. There we go. Jerk-offs. Oh, you're still going through a cold spell there and a bunch of snow, eh? Nice. But it's good you're doing good, man. But New York is freezing. I've heard that they've been having some issues. That there's been a few deaths due to cold. There's been a few around everywhere. You get that weird cold stretch come in that people just aren't used to. You know. Flower, what is crack funk rock? Oh, crack funk. What the hell is crack funk? Like, you need to, I need to know. Like, you don't want their version of crack funk. I read it as rock, but that's Robert. So, associate Robert with rock and roll, I guess. You don't want to find the funk coming from somebody's crack? All right, there you go. I agree 100%. No problem. See, Robert, 73 there today and again tomorrow. And here we call that room temperature. That is the standard temperature inside somebody's house. Well, 72 degrees. That's a nice temperature. Yeah, that's a perfect temperature. We're still hovering at the freezing mark. It'll go on the plus and melt a little bit during the day, and then it go down to just below freezing at night. So it's always just a perfect ice on the roads every morning. Oh, bloody hell, man. I think it is, Scepter. I think 72 is a perfect temperature. We run that temperature around here as much as we can. What do we have? What do we have? Look at all that. Rock and roll, Bubba. Rock and roll. All right. We need more. We just need more. More of everything. More of this, more of that, more fun, more booze, more cars, more noise, more traffic, more pollution, more heat. I just want more of everything. Let's burn the planet down. I know it makes no sense. Uh-oh, was that Flower? No, dang it, the temps trigger hot flashes. I don't want no more. I come on, Flower. I don't think it's the temperatures outside that are triggering hot flashes. I mean, geez, I sleep next to a heater, I swear, that's powered by a thermonuclear reactor. It's just insane. I can see the heat waves radiating off at night when I'm trying to sleep, and I'm waking up, and it's so hot. I feel like I'm slowly being spit roasted in the oven with the door open, So I kind of know Flower. Speaking of, there she is. Hi, dear. Yeah, listening to that, are you? Here. So, I'm sorry, but sometimes it actually physically hurts. She'll such a hot flash. She'll like put her hand on me, and I'll feel like I'm being burnt. Like, it's wild. And the thing is, don't know how long this is going to last for. So I could be looking forward to a few years yet of being singed for being too close to the sun, but that's okay. That's what I signed on for. I guess I just have to deal, right? Yeah, no, Jason, going back to New York there with the cold and the people freezing, has it so far just been the homeless or have, usually when this happens, they'll find some elderly somewhere who didn't have proper heat to begin with, and now it got too cold that they froze to death because nobody goes and checks on them. So I wonder, have they found any of that, or so far has it basically just been sticking to the homeless? I mean, but then again, you just don't need super cold to freeze outside, I mean, you can die of hypothermia when it's even doesn't have to be freezing. It can be above zero if you get wet and cold. Because you have to remember, your refrigerator isn't quite freezing temperature. It's a few degrees above. But if you got soaking wet in your clothes and went and sat in your refrigerator, you'd eventually die of hypothermia. $17. I'd say that would be the 17 they know of so far. I'm sure there's probably a few they haven't found or counted or that they don't know yet because nobody's checked on them. Robert. It's well, Flower, as somebody that lived where was winter 8 months a year, it's not so much where I grew up. It'd be winter for about 7 to 8 months all year long. Freezing temperatures, snow. And it wasn't so much as a surprise, but everybody would bitch. But they would all bitch and we'd all go, but we know it comes every year. We know it's going to happen. We know how long it's going to be here. And yet we complained every year. So, but the one thing that surprised a lot of us, and it still does to this day, is that if it hasn't snowed here or froze yet by October, it could happen literally any day at the drop of a hat. All of a sudden start snowing and freezing and ice everywhere. And people just wait, and then that snow will hit. And sometimes that first snow dump we get is up to 18 inches. And people are in accidents and stuck everywhere because it's like they completely forgot. They're oblivious. They completely forgot how to drive in the snow and the ice again, and it takes them about a week to get ready. So the tow companies are busy as hell, and there's accidents galore. And because people just become kind of ignorant, they blind themselves, It's crazy. Here at the ski resorts, even though you get enough natural snow, the second it gets cold enough for the snow to stay in the mountains, they start making snow. Even though they'll get so much snow that at the ski hill here, the ski runs will be like 12 feet deep with snow. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, it makes snow. Yeah, Scepter, that's why. See, in a place like that, Scepter, I can get it. If it happens not every year, but every few years or something, it's kind of, people know it can happen, but it's not likely to happen every single year. Okay, shutting down for the few days, I mean, makes sense there. Even though people that live in winter will go like, really? Really? What the hell? But if you live there too, and you got so used to there not being any. And I know when I first moved somewhere where it didn't snow and I moved and I didn't see winter, I didn't see snow for like 8 years. And then where I was living, all of a sudden it frickin' snowed and it froze for like 4 days. And you had to turn all your taps on in the house and run the water constantly to keep the water flowing because the water lines were going to freeze because nothing was buried deep enough to prevent it from freezing because the frost never went more than 3 inches at all if it got cold enough to freeze. And here, everything is below 6 feet because it gets so cold that the frost goes that deep. I mean, it thaws out enough. You could probably plant a garden, but if you keep digging and you went down about 4 feet, you're still going to hit frozen ground. It's nuts. But, oh well, you know, we do what we can. We survive the winter. I mean, I've been way up north where the ground is frozen year round. They have what it's called permafrost. It just never goes away. The only thing you could possibly grow up there in the summer for a few months is maybe potatoes, you know, maybe carrots. If you dig up the thawed earth and put it on the surface above the frost and then planted them. But it's permanently frozen, you know, so you can prepare for winter like you prepare for anything. You just, you account for it. Even now, it's nice out. You don't need a jacket or anything, but I mean, you put the jacket and the boots and get an insulated suit and everything in the car because you're driving down the highway. You don't know if you break down. I have no idea if someone's going to come by in the next hour or so and give you a ride. You don't know when you go to call a tow truck if they're going to be 2 or 3 hours away with the time when you call. You know, so you just be prepared. Oh, well, enough ranting and raving about winter and cold and preparation and surviving and planting potatoes in frozen dirt, which I would love to do. That's one of my favorite things to watch, man. I'm going to sidetrack myself here, is all the time. And I wish I had actually got a copy of it, and I'm probably going to search for it and add it to my server. But they would show it all the time on PBS. Now, you know, Dick Proenneke. Okay, everybody knows who he is, right? The guy that served the old Navy man that went off into Alaska, and he had the old, you know, when he filmed himself and he went up there and he built his cabin and he lived up there until he was in his 70s, you know, in a fly-in only area, and they ended up preserving it. And it's a protected site. And even when he left, he was the only person that was allowed to go back there if he wanted and stay in the cabin. You know. No, he was in the Navy. It was Alone in the Wilderness is the name of the show. What they did is they took his film and all the diaries that he wrote when he was up there, and his brother was reading the diaries, and they would show the, you know. Oh, here, I'll find a good image. This might do it. Ah, shit, I don't know if this is gonna show up very well. Well, he went up there in like 1968. Okay, and it was called Alone in the Wilderness. Was the documentary they made using all his stuff. But he filmed all his own up there, and he moved in, he hunted, he fished. He was 50 years old when he went off into the bush. He just picked the spot up in Twin Lakes in Alaska, and he went and he landed, and he had a friend fly him in, and they actually got him a colored film camera, and he recorded as much as he absolutely could. You know, and he went up there. He built everything himself from scratch. He took a crosscut saw, a drawing knife, and a couple chisels, and he built his cabin. Like, he even fashioned the hinges for the cabin doors out of wood and the handle. Like, he did everything himself. He just found that spot and said, I'm going to live here, and he built a cabin. And it is something. It was crazy. I mean, you're talking, he went up there in 1968. He was 50 years old. You know, But it was good. We had a guy similar back in the day that did that here in Canada, but he wasn't up there ideally. He was actually trying to hide from the police, and he was known as the Mad Trapper of Rat River. And he ended up getting gunned down from a helicopter trying to cross a lake on snowshoe, and they had enough, and they flew over and they shot him. But they kept all his stuff in a museum here at the RCMP training barracks. They have a museum, and they have all his stuff because this guy handcrafted all his clothes and his snowshoes and everything like that. And he outran the cops for like a year up there in the bush. They hunted him. And the thing is, nobody ever knows who he was. Nobody knew where he was from, his name or anything. But yeah, Dick Proenneke, Alone in the Wilderness. It was always done on PBS. They did a book, and then they got the... But it's rather interesting just watching him shape these things and build these things. You've heard of the Mad Trapper Scepter. Yeah. Okay, Flower, you mentioned Bob Ross. So I won't ruin Bob Ross for you. But I said something to somebody one time, and they're just like, you just ruined watching Bob Ross. So I won't ruin Bob Ross for you. So don't worry about that. But, it's cool. Scepter, you might be right. He might have shot at the chopper too, trying to take it down. We're talking the very earliest type of helicopter, right? I mean, but they would try and track him all over, and they were having a hard time. I mean, his name was actually Albert Johnson is what they called him, but nobody knows. I mean, he was shot, like they killed him in 1932, okay? So, yeah. But they had the earliest type, I guess it would be like back then, I guess it would have been just basically a gyrocopter. And, but yeah, you're talking way back. Yeah, Robert, he was. And I got to wonder when I watch him paint, if he, right, Flower? People from then, right there, to 1960s definitely knew how to survive. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Where is it here? Yeah, they actually used the guy that was flying, trying to track this guy, Scepter. What they had flying they hired a First World War flying ace. So, I mean, you're talking back in the day when they needed somebody, they hired like the very first ever combat pilot. One of the first flying aces of air battle back in the day when these guys were like basically flying wooden seats with engines and some wires. Like, holy shit. Ugh. Man. But, yeah, I need to take off, head to bed. Oh, Cy. You come in, Chris, and I'm saying goodbye. You just popped in. You just showed up and said, hello, everybody. So you'll be able to talk for a bit, but I got to run. I got to go to bed. I got to get up in a few hours and go to work. I only took one day off, and that was hard to arrange. But it's time for me to run away, make like a tree and leave. I'm going to scram, get out of here. Adios, sayonara, and goodbye. So everybody, enjoy yourself, because I am out of here, and I will see everybody.